Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah ma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. I'm here with my brother Imran ibn Mansour, and we're going to do another lesson now from How to Smash Your Exams. Now, while we were doing How to Smash Your Exams before, we were doing live webinars, and a lot of the requests that the brothers and sisters were asking is give us tips and tricks on how to revise and how to study during Ramadan if we're fasting. So the brother and I have prepared a good amount of tips and tricks for you and for your studying during Ramadan. We're going to get right into it.
Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, Mr. Wavy, I think people's concerns, generally speaking, when it comes to revising and studying and working in the month of Ramadan, and by the way, what I'm going to mention is not just going to be advice specific to students, but anyone, whether you're working a job, running a business, or just anyone who's got their day-to-day activities, who's wondering, how on earth am I going to keep afloat of all of the tasks that I have to do, because Ramadan's coming, and obviously we're going to be fasting 18 hours. That means I'm not going to be eating, and I'm going to be spending my time worshipping. So how am I possibly going to get these things done? So this advice is going to be relevant to all of those people, inshallah. So with these people who come with these concerns, and because we're talking about students, we'll keep it in the context of students who are still revising for their exams. I think the concerns come back down to two things. The first thing is the lack of food and drink. Because of the lack of food and drink, obviously food and drink translates into energy, and energy allows you to perform, to function, to do work, right? So because you're not eating, you're not drinking, your energy is low, and therefore your function is low, right? Your workload is
That's what you believe.
That's what you believe, right? So that's the concern. That's the first concern. A second concern is, well, it's the month of Ramadan, and I already have a busy schedule, and I've got to revise for my exams, and on top of that I've got to do my extra worship. I've got to do my Taraweeh, my Qiyamul Layl. I want to finish the Quran at least once in the whole month. I want to do all these extra acts of worship. So there's a time management issue. A time management issue. So inshallah we'll take each thing step by step, inshallah. Let's start with the nutrition thing. So first and foremost, I just want to bust a myth straight away. Okay? And that is when people believe that just because you don't have 3 or 5 meals a day, you can't function. Because the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, it is Hasan, as Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah mentioned, Rawahu al-Imam Ahmed wa Tirmidhi wa Nasa'i ibn Majah. It's narrated in these 4 books, Ahmed, Tirmidhi, and Nasa'i ibn Majah. And the hadith is where the Prophet ﷺ said, ما ملأ آدمي وعاء شرا من بطنه, that the humans, the children of Adam, they don't fill any vessel worse than the stomach. Like the stomach is the thing that they fill up the worst. It is filled up the worst. Like they really don't. They're not wise with this. So they fill it up in a really bad way.
They're a bit reckless.
They're a bit reckless with it, right? So like they overfill it. Like imagine I've got a cup, and I'm only allowed to this cup only holds a certain amount of food or a certain amount of water. If I overspill it, I'm reckless with it.
Of course,
Or I fill it with things that are going to destroy it from the inside. I fill it with things that are bad for it. Right? So the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا مَلَأَ آدَمِيٌّ وِعَاءً شَرًّا مِنْ بَطْنٍ. That the human beings, there's nothing that they fill up worse than the stomach. Like they really the human beings, they abuse the stomach when it comes to filling. What they put in there, they abuse it. Okay?
So it's bad in quantity and bad in quality, basically.
So what they put in is bad, and they fill it up in a bad way, right? As we know from our own anecdotal experiences, right? Majority of the world's population is obese in the West, 100%. Right? 70% of people in the States are obese. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, بِحَسْبِ ابْنِ آدَمٍ, it will be enough for the children of Adam, for the child of Adam, for me, for you, أَكَلَاتٌ يُقِمْنَ صُلْبَهُ, that we eat just enough that will allow our back to become straight. Meaning,
so the Prophet doesn't talk about nutrition.
Right? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he's giving you the bare minimum that you need to survive. The bare minimum you need to survive.
In order for you to function, you only need that which will straighten your back. Right? Meaning, like for example, when you're going through extreme pain, you can't stand. People who go through extreme poverty, extreme hunger, when they go through famine, they curl up. Their body kind of curls in.
That's why Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, once he was approached, I think if I'm not mistaken, by either Sufyan ibn Uyayna or Abdullah ibn Mubarak, one of the two. They came to him and one of the two came to say salam to him, and they stuck his hand out, and he kind of extended his hand to say salam. So if you come at me, obviously this is a real handshake, right? He taught me how to shake hands properly.
It was me.
Yeah, I learned this, but he didn't do that. Okay. He kind of just done this.
Okay.
So imagine I come to say salam to you. So I come to say salam to me, and I'm just like,
yeah.
It's kind of like it's not very welcoming, is it?
Yeah.
So he done that because of the extreme pain that he was in. He couldn't even shake hands. So when he met him later, Sufyan ibn al-Thawri, when he met him later, he said to him, by the way, that day I was going through extreme poverty, extreme hunger. Extreme hunger. Sorry, I was going through. That's why I didn't even have the energy to shake your hand. Right. Okay. So that is when it's game over, right? But yuqimna sulbahu is that which will cause stand, right? Which could be, wallahi, it could be an apple.
It's something very small.
It's something something very small. But just that, basically, as long as you're standing, that will suffice you. As long as you can stand, you can function and do what you need to do, right? But then the Prophet ﷺ said, فَإِنْ كَانَ وَإِنْ كَانَ لَا مَحَالَ. If the person hasn't got this ability, like he needs more. If that's not going to be enough, if just having the basics not going to be enough, this person needs more to function. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, this. So that was the minimum. This is the maximum. فَثُلُثٌ لِطَعَامِهِ وَثُلُثٌ لِشَرَابِهِ وَثُلُثٌ لِنَفَسِهِ.
Yeah.
Then the person, he divides his stomach into thirds.
2/3, yeah. 1/3 for food.
1/3 for food.
Water.
1/3 for drink. 1/3 for the air to breathe. Yeah. Right. 1/3 for the air to breathe. So that is a healthy diet. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, that's a healthy diet. And the reality of the matter is that we don't do that. We overeat.
Sorry.
We really overeat. We're not filling our stomachs to a third. We're not filling our stomachs to a third of food or water or air. Wallahi, we're not. That's why, wallahi, when people they binge for iftar in Ramadan, when they can't stand for the Taraweeh,
they can't.
You can't breathe. You've left no air because do you see what I'm saying? So you've overeaten. So the reason I wanted to mention the hadith is because first I want to start off that it's a myth. People believe that I have to be eating consistently throughout the entirety of the day in order for me to be able to function. Okay, that's you only need small quantities of food. Okay, and you can have that small quantity of food between the iftar and suhoor. So your iftar and suhoor, the issue here, and I'm going to pass it on to you, Mr. Wavy, because I know you're dying to get into this, is and rightly so, is that what we eat is of poor quality. All right, like we're eating, for example, foods like that are salty. Like we know you're going to do an 18-hour fast in the summer. Okay, so you need to be hydrated. You need water.
Of course.
If you're eating food that's salty, or has got salt in it. No wonder you're dying in the day. Yeah. Because that it doesn't. What happens? What happens? You tell us. What happens if you have salty food?
Generally speaking, if you eat food that's considerably more salty than other food, you'll feel more dehydrated along the day. Even though you may not be, you'll feel more dehydrated along the day than somebody who didn't eat salty food. So you'll feel like you need to drink more water. Okay,
so then those brothers last night who were in Dixie Chicken for suhoor, and they had chips with salt. Like chips with salt was their suhoor.
It's a very, very bad idea. I do not recommend it to anyone.
And you were actually there. You were actually advising me. You were saying, brothers, don't do this. Don't do this. And then they regretted it this morning, didn't they?
Of course. Some of those brothers, they regretted it.
They really regretted it. There was others who were eating dates and
some brothers
bananas.
were quite serious. I don't know, innit? I'm just saying. So, is it my turn? Okay, Bismillah. What I'm trying to say is that I really hate this discussion. It happens every year. People are there like, I can't fast for this reason and I can't fast for that reason. There's only a couple of things that we really need to discuss here, innit? One is that a lot of people fast without actually thinking about fasting. Like you'll wake up in the morning and you'll miss breakfast because you're late, for example, and you're going to college or school or whatever, and you'll spend the day like talking to your friends or maybe playing sports or something like that, and you won't have time to get a drink or get food or anything, or maybe you're studying, maybe you're in the library the whole day studying, you didn't have time at lunchtime to get any food. If you went from 9 a.m. up until about 4 p.m, that's about 6 or 7 hours that you didn't eat anything. Then, for example, you don't eat anything on the way home, and you only eat at dinner time, right at the end before you go to bed. You basically fasted the whole day.
Sahih.
And you didn't really think about it. It didn't really inhibit your need to study or go to school or go to work or anything like that. So I believe most of this issue is quite psychological, it's quite
Sorry,
internal.
Allah, I
People
agree.
believe that because I can't eat anything, because I can't drink anything, I'm not going to be able to function, even when they don't even try it. I saw a lot of people arguing and debating on the internet the other day about, okay, yeah, are exams a good enough reason to not fast, etc. And a lot of people there saying, yeah, it's a good enough, and I'm thinking, no, no, it can't be a good enough reason. Allah specifically told you to fast in knowing all of these things that you're going to have to do.
So what you're saying is scientifically it's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Like as in
As in most people can function without it. You don't actually have to. The other thing you have to remember is...
Also, if I can mention, shar'an, religiously, it's also not a good enough excuse because Ibn Baz rahimahullah was asked the same question: can we miss our fasting due to our examinations? And he said this is not permissible. Like the excuses that are religious excuses are, for example, traveling,
being sick. Yeah.
So, and of course a woman who's on her menses,
Yeah.
a woman who's breastfeeding,
Yeah.
and she hasn't got the ability, or she's pregnant, she doesn't have the ability.
Like we know the excuses that are there are of types, they are limited, they're already spoken about.
Yeah, and
these people know about those already.
Was a really powerful point was that, you know, Ustad Abdulrahman mentioned last year, was that, you know, people think, oh, the fast being hard is an excuse to not fast. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say that just because it's hard, you don't have to fast. Because if that was the case, then any guy who...
Yeah, hard is subjective for everybody, isn't it?
Exactly, right? And the whole point of it is that it is supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's one of those things that has the greatest reward. Like, for example, Shaykh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili, he mentioned earlier, I was watching one of his videos today, that, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said fasting, فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. That fasting is for me and I will reward for it. And it's powerful that is that every other action of worship that you do, you get told the reward. We get told the reward of charity. We get told the reward of this. We get told the reward of that. But the one thing that Allah didn't tell us the reward for is fasting.
Yeah,
He says, فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ.
with Allah, so
Why?
could be anything.
To show you it's such a big reward that it can't be mentioned.
Of course.
It cannot be mentioned, right? That's how big everything else we've been told.
You won't be able to fathom it.
Yeah. And why? فَإِنَّهُ لِي, because Allah said it's for me. Meaning it's sincere. Like you could be sitting in your house with a glass of cold water in front of you in the blazing heat of fasting, and you know no one would know that you didn't drink it except for Allah. You know, like I'm here right now. How do you know I'm fasting?
Yeah.
How do you know I didn't just eat or I didn't just quickly? This is the one act of worship that's sincere. It's only between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the reward for it is so big. So the point is that it's supposed to be hard. That's why because the reward is so big, right? So hardship is not an excuse to say, oh, I don't need to fast, right? So shar'an, it's not an excuse, and scientifically, as you've just mentioned,
it can't be a good enough
it's not an excuse. Sorry, I just carry on from there.
The other thing is that people have to remember that when they talk about food and water and energy and all these things, it's all based upon caloric intake. So how much food you actually eat, how many calories you basically eat every day. Now, if you eat enough calories at iftar time, enough calories at suhoor time, enough to cover your daily maintenance level, you don't actually have to eat anything in those gaps anyway. Like between suhoor and between iftar, you don't have to fill that with food. The problem is really people fill their diets with, as you mentioned before, poor quality of food. When you're eating poor quality carbohydrates, like I know I don't want to get too technical or too deep into it, but if you're eating simple sugars, like you're drinking Coke for suhoor, and then you're surprised why you're thirsty in the daytime, it shouldn't be too complicated. Like you should be eating good, wholesome, healthy food which is going to sustain you throughout the day. You're not going to eat anything for 18 hours. You should be wise. You should be thinking about that. And if you do eat healthy, a lot of people don't even feel hungry. You get that?
Okay, so one sec. We'll try and give an analogy to make this work, because I think it's very powerful what you just said, right? So, like, for example, say I'm a person who I don't get paid monthly by my boss. I just get paid once a year, right? So I don't have to get paid monthly. I can just get all my wages once a year. Yeah. But it's, you know, and that money that's in my account, it's up to me to make sure that I manage it throughout
you have to be wise
throughout the year, right? So I don't have to, you know, get that monthly wage. Okay, now the way the analogy would work out here is, for example, look, I've got food. Okay, I can either eat twice a day, suhoor, iftar, or I could eat 5 times a day, as most people do. You know, they say have 5 small healthy meals a day. Yeah. So I'm saying you don't have to. The point here is not the frequency of which you eat or the frequency of which you get paid. It's that when I get paid, my boss has to give me enough to sustain me throughout the year.
Exactly.
So when I eat, whether I eat once a day or 5 times a day or 10 times a day, I have to eat that which will sustain me
Exactly, throughout the whole time. Yeah.
So my boss is giving me enough funds for the year.
Yeah.
I'm giving my stomach enough calories for the day.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So the key here is not the frequency of food.
Quality. It's quality. It's the thing of what you're eating.
Okay.
Yeah. And the amount that you eat, obviously. Even if you're eating a very good quality, but you're eating a small meal, it's still not going to sustain. You should have a good balance between how much you're going to eat and the quality of the food that you're going to eat.
Okay.
And I don't have to mention, in our culture, we just eat samosas and like fried food for iftar.
So why is that bad?
I don't want to get too complicated or too technical. I'm just saying that it shouldn't be too complicated. I shouldn't have to tell you why that's bad for you. I shouldn't have to talk about cholesterol and heart disease and all these other kind of things for people to understand why they shouldn't eat samosas and pakoras at iftar time. I'm just saying that,
like every
be
now,
wise.
I'm saying never, but like every now, I'm saying for that to be your,
I mean, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just eat it within reason.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna eat samosas today.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm not gonna go in like a pig, and I'm not gonna do that every day.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying you should fill your diet with mostly complex carbohydrates. Just Google it. All you have to do is Google what is a complex carb. That's all you have to do.
So can you give examples of foods? Like you've got a list here.
Brown rice, brown pasta, anything that's got the word brown on it. Just eat it. Like nuts and grains and like lean meat. I don't like. It's not hard. People know. They what they're trying to do is they're trying to throw out the easiest thing. For them, it's fasting. Really, it should be the things that you're addicted to, like sugar. Okay. You should throw out things like that to in order to sustain and maintain everything that's there. Because for a lot of people, and this isn't like, I'm not judging, I'm just saying it shouldn't be the case. For a lot of people, fasting is the most expendable thing. Because it's added, everything else is already there. They just throw fasting in there. It can easily be thrown out. When in reality, the unhealthy things you eat, the unhealthy times that you wake up, the unhealthy general schedule of your life that you have, those things should be considered before you consider, okay, I'm not going to fast. Fasting should be the first thing, and everything else just orbits around there.
Sahih. So you're saying, okay, so throw out chocolates, throw out...
Yeah, all of those things, like those things are simple carbohydrates. That means that what that basically means is when the carb is broken down into energy in your body, it gets broken down very quickly. Which means if you don't use it, it will be stored in your body. I don't have to get into that. I'm just saying that.
Fat.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, and you eat some complex carbohydrates, like for example brown rice.
So complex carbohydrates are the slow release energy.
Yeah, and throughout the day it will release energy into your body. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Bananas and that. I heard.
Yeah, fruits and vegetables generally fall into that category.
Also, another thing that's really good, right, is to eat foods that have lots of fluids in there, because one of the things that will allow you to concentrate and focus throughout the day is the fact that you're hydrated. The food of the brain is water, right? And the Prophet ﷺ did say فَثُلُثُ لِطَعَامِهِ, a third of food. So we mentioned the food, وَثُلُثُ لِشَرَابِهِ, and a third of drink. So you really need to make sure that you're hydrated. And also it's good to combine between foods between things that are food and drink at the same time, like soups. Yeah. Because
and smoothies and things
and smoothies and things like that, because these are liquids and they also at the same time they're foods. So like soups are good, and like when you make your curries, make them with like olive oil or olive oil is good. The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, he said season your food with olive oil. And there's many health benefits in this, and so on and so forth. So definitely that's something to, vegetable oil and
of course,
all that good, cool, healthy stuff. But definitely go in with the water. Fizzy drinks have to be thrown out.
I don't, it's a whole month. Just don't drink it. It's not hard.
And to be honest,
I'm talking to you as somebody who used to drink fizzy drinks quite heavily. It's not that deep. Just cut it, man.
Yeah. In fact, he was going in just a few months ago, like about 6-7 months ago. And then one day he woke up and was like, "This is disgusting. I have to stop." And since then, I think you drank it like once or twice. Maybe.
Generally speaking, it's been gone. Yeah.
It's been gone. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So I'm saying this is Wallahi's option. Now, here's another point to mention. Yeah. Now, of course, obviously, generally speaking, if you're eating, in a normal day, and if you're tired because you had an active day, you're gonna go and get some more food or some more drink, right? So obviously you can't do that because you're banned from eating between sunrise and sunset. So that means that whatever you've eaten the day before, the night before, for iftar and suhoor, you know how much calories are in there, you know how much energy that's gonna give you for the rest of the day. So you shouldn't try to have a day in which you're going to be burning more energy than you already have. Yeah. Because then you're going to get more tired. So this is important. It's an important point, right? So for example, if I've only eaten this amount of food to help me just do X, Y, Z throughout the day, and then you start jogging and running up and down and doing a whole bunch of like, you know, physical activity, know that now...
For example, yeah, even though you wouldn't, but I'm saying for example, you throw that thing, you throw those activities into your day, you're, as the brother mentioned, you're going to be burning more energy than you already intook via food. So in that, you're going to feel more hungry and more thirsty unnecessarily.
So on a normal day, you would have just gone and got a drink or just had something to eat and then gone back to your studying. But now you won't be able to because you've used up that energy. Does that make sense? So if you know you're going to have an active day, just store some more energy the night before.
Yeah.
So have more, you know, bananas and like dates. But like when you talk about dates, man, they got so much fiber in there. They got so much, you know. I don't know, they got so much stuff. Like, I'm not a scientist, that's why he's here. He's here for all that science stuff.
I'm just saying that people should be a bit wise with their decision making. Yeah. You can't live your generally unhealthy lifestyle and then blame fasting or not being able to function with exams and studying and whatnot. Fasting is actually a very reasonable... Oh, this is another thing we're going to get into. It's actually a reasonable way to get good grades in your exams. Because when you eat less, you're actually less lethargic. Like you when you eat more, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, maybe a lot of people haven't, but when you eat more, generally speaking, you don't want to do anything after that. You just want to sit down and kind of do nothing. And so that feeling, that emotion, that mindset kind of carries throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
If you have a lazy idea and a lazy concept from lunchtime, that's going to carry over for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Not just that, you know, Imam Ibrahim ibn Adham, Imam Ahmad rahimahumullah, these men from the Salaf, they would never fill their stomachs, and they would say one of the reasons is because it tires your body, as you just mentioned, right? It tires you from worship, it tires you from your work, it tires you from your studies. I actually find in my own life that when I don't eat as much, I sleep less as well.
Same.
So, you know, we want to reduce sleep, but you know, not to the cost of our health, right? So how do you do that? One of the things that you don't eat so much nonsense, because it slows you down, it wears you down, and it just puts you to sleep. And what I, brothers and sisters, you know, the Salaf, they never used to eat much, man. Imam Abu Hatim al-Razi rahimahullah, or Abu Zur'at al-Razi, one of the two, they used to mention that, you know, that one day they went to a lesson, and the sheikh, he never showed up. So they thought to themselves, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to get some food, because they were hungry, they were starving, they hadn't eaten for a long time. So they went to the sea and they did some fishing, and they caught a fish. So when they caught the fish, they were just about to cook the fish. Allah musta'an, what happened? The teacher came back, so they went running back to the teacher. 3 days went by, and they kept studying. They didn't eat anything, and then they came back, and all they had to eat was that same old fish that they had left by the seabed. So, subhanallah, you know, these were men who were scholars, and they worked hard, and
that was another point we were going to get into as well.
Yeah.
How are scholars able to become scholars? And some of them fasted every other day, and they were still able to study more complex, more in-depth sciences than physics and maths and geography and all this other stuff.
And that heat is worse.
Yeah,
I mean, they have that.
Their living conditions were a lot worse, right?
And even after iftar and so on, they don't have the luxury of having water as much as we do, because they live in deserts where there's droughts and so on. So I'm saying, even at iftar and so on, it's not like they're banging out a whole bunch. Do you see what I'm saying? So I mean, there's a lot we could talk about it, but the point is, generally speaking, if you take the principles that we've mentioned in this video, you'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be right. Choose what you eat, choose when you eat it, and generally, just be a bit wise with your decision making. Fasting shouldn't be the most expendable thing on your list of things to do in Ramadan.
Just with regards to the time management thing, I don't think we'll go into it in too much detail, because we've already mentioned it
in previous webinars.
In the previous webinars on the How to Smash Your Exams. Anyone who hasn't benefited from it, then you can check out the website on the link below. It's not live anymore. You'll have to wait till next year, but you can check out the link below, inshallah, possibly see if you can get hold of the recordings by going to the link below, inshallah ta'ala. But we discussed it there. But just as a general advice, what I would say is, look, most of your exams should be finished by the last 10 nights.
Yeah.
The last 10 nights is the time where you want to really, really go in, okay? If you can't fully go in 100% with the worship right now because of your studying and your exams, then no problem, do what you need to do in terms of your exams and your studying. But let's be honest, as mentioned in the previous time management webinars, that, you know, we waste a lot of time in our day. There's no way you can't add in, you know, reading a bit extra Quran than you normally do, and doing a few extra rak'ah of tarawih at night, even if you're not able to stay the whole night, even though it's best to stay the whole night, because the Prophet ﷺ said that anyone who starts with the Imam until the Imam finishes gets the rule of the whole night. Whether you pray 8 or 20 rak'ah, you stay. But let's just say you genuinely can't, or you can manage to get in his 8 rak'ah or 4 rak'ah, then do that. Just add something. If you can't add everything, add something, inshallah. But leave the last 10 nights to fully go in 100%. And finally, for those of you who are watching, I just want to mention that we have a program on the Knowledge College called the Fasting and Furious. This is a course that I taught last year. There are 30 lessons for each day of the month of Ramadan. And wallahi, brothers and sisters who done it last year were literally they were shocked as to how effective their Ramadan could be, with this extra knowledge. Because as we mentioned, worshipping Allah based upon knowledge is what actually allows that worship to have benefit and have fruits. So wallahi, brothers and sisters, if you're a person who is doing Ramadan and you really want to know about the secrets of Ramadan, why is it some people their Ramadan is epic and yours isn't so epic? Why is it some people don't change after Ramadan but others do? This course is going to be all that, and because it's the month of Ramadan, we've made it absolutely accessible for everyone for free. Not just this course, but the entirety of the Knowledge College for the whole month of Ramadan is going to be available for free for anyone who wants to benefit from it. So all you need to do is go to the link below where it says fastingandfurious.com or something like that. The link is below. Literally just leave your email address and we'll send you an email of how you can access the program immediately. You might have to check your junk box because the email might go there, but you'll be able to really have the best Ramadan of your entire life, inshallah ta'ala, if you haven't already done so. For those who are already on the Knowledge College, then you can access it, no problem, inshallah. And for those who want, make use of this opportunity, bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. With that, we have to love you and leave you. Anything you want to say?
No, inshallah, just be wise, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Just think about it 10 times before you do it,
inshallah. Listen, when you do eat, since we're talking about food and iftar, it's a time to make dua, and dua is accepted. If you can make dua for me and Mr. Wavy at that time, inshallah, specifically if you can make dua for Allah to accept our actions in this month and for Allah to increase us in our hifz, in our memory. If you can make that as a specific dua for us, it's very specific dua for Allah to increase in our hifz. If you could do that every time when you break your fast for iftar,
that'd be great.
Or any time you make dua in the month of Ramadan, would really appreciate that.
That'd be amazing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.